chilling. You know what I'm saying? Really, it ain't no we. I'm out here chilling by myself. You know what I'm saying? Really, I was sitting here medicating, trying to figure out what do I want to talk about tonight. Well, tonight I feel like I'm gonna talk about the black entertainer, the black athlete, the black role model. This is what I'm gonna talk about. This is what I'm talking about tonight. The black people that you see that got money, the black people that you see that are playing certain games in order to make a buck to take care of their family. When you see a black athlete, a black entertainer, or a black person that has a certain type of job to where he is earning a certain amount of money, you gotta understand that they're playing this white man's game. They're like, oh man, what are you talking about, man? It's just a job. That very well may be true. It is just a job. Because my nigga that's a manager at McDonald's, I look at him the same way that I look at LeBron James. But that's not the case for everybody else. That's not the case with everybody else. All of these black athletes, all of these black entertainers, anybody black with a lot of money that you could turn on the TV and possibly see on these Jewish networks, the only reason why you're able to see these people do that bullshit that you may be sick of or not sick of, the only reason why you're able to see that bullshit, the only reason why that bullshit is so readily available is because these crackers, they controlling all the shit. So, if you on TV and you talking about something positive, or if you doing something good, or if you're trying to uplift people who look like you are not going to be on the front stage. And you be like, and then when motherfuckers used to say that back in the day, they used to be like, well, what about Bill Cosby? The whole Bill Cosby situation, and I done talked about it already, but I'll talk about it again. It's almost like when you from the streets, and you say if you hear a deal going on in the streets or whatever, and it sounds too good to be true, to the point to where you feel like you got to be like, well, what's the catch? So basically, when you saw Bill Cosby, obviously now, and you look at the situation, nigga, it was a catch to it. So if you black and you wealthy, and you got a lot of money, you better shut the fuck up. Stay in your lane. Do whatever it is that we're paying you to do, and that's it. Whether it be to dunk a basketball, throw or catch a football, hit a baseball, make me laugh, kick someone's ass. So if you in these lanes, we are entertainment to them. Even when you put mulatto President Obama in office, it is still a form of entertainment to them. Because they trying to see how the original would do in that certain situation, in that position. Even with everything that's being told to him to do. Whether he agree with it or not. They just want to see how someone, a melanated being, would react in that situation. So, when it comes back around and you got a white president, you might see similar traits. Even though, you know what I mean, they've been stealing and copying shit. So you might see similar traits, even though he ain't did shit. That's the scary part. So, when President Obama is out of office, you can look at him the same way as you look at a black entertainer or a black politician or a black whatever that's trying to make some money. but not give a fuck about his people, or but give a fuck about people who look like him. Because just know they would never put someone in office who they felt that was pro-black or felt like they would change anything. So they already know. I'm not saying if you got skills and you young and you black and you got skills not to pursue your dreams and all of that. What I'm saying is though we need to have some different dreams. We need to quit aspiring to be like the motherfuckers that don't even give a fuck about us. I don't give a fuck how good you are in whatever sport. So if you young and you black and your dream and your aspirations is to be like someone who don't even give a fuck about you, what does that say about you? So basically, you're classifying someone as your role model that you've never met, that don't give a fuck about you, who's only playing a certain role to survive. So we cannot look to these people as our leaders, because when you look at a black person who is a part of their system and is making his way, but he is so-called looked at as a black role model, we gotta understand that he is a victim. We gotta understand that he's a victim, just like one of the old heads I know that's standing in front of the store drinking that fucking beer. We gotta understand that we dealing with the same fucking person. Actually, the person that's drinking that beer standing in front of that store might be more intellectual, or might be more informed, or might be more conscious or aware of certain shit than your NBA star, your professional athlete star, your actor star. So it's a lot of people that's fucked up that chose not to be a part of that system. They chose not to play that game. And since they chose not to play that game, they are going to be a different form or fashion of a victim. So I look at them the same. I look at the football field the same way as I look at the cotton field. I look at it as the same way as I look at the hoop court and all of that. And this is coming from an athlete. I look at it the same way because you got to look at who's controlling it. You mean to tell me that white people have created an organization to where black people can make millions of dollars? You mean to tell me that you black people cannot create that same organization and many more like it and not include them? You mean to tell me you can't do that? I don't understand. Listen, if you are an employee and you make millions of dollars, how could you remain an employee on any way, shape, or form? And I'm not saying that to say that don't know employees that make millions of dollars start their own businesses. They might start their own businesses in other different lanes and stuff like that though, but in this certain area, what got them to where, you know what I mean, to where they can own their own shit and all of that, they different side businesses, that you telling me that you can still remain a slave or an employee in that certain area? It's almost like a motherfucker that you might say, quote unquote, is afraid to leave the nest. For real. because I feel like there is racism in sports. There is a lot of scandalous shit going on in sports, man. Even with the gambling part and everything else. Telling you, the only reason why they came up with the 3-point line is it's for the white basketball player to even be able to survive in that shit. Because they know they know that they cannot dominate us physically, so they will create that in order to, or motherfucker might not have to, you know what I'm saying, he can squeeze some shit in. Just know that. So, I mean, you see it in football, really all sports, whatever. They really trying to protect that quarterback position. They try and protect that. You got all type of black quarterbacks and shit like that though, but they will get moved on quicker. They will, you know what I mean? They know they trying to keep that position, the leader on the football field, to be that good old golden boy. Let's see, Russell Wilson or whatever, the quarterback for the Seahawks, the mulatto. He won the Super Bowl. He the mulatto. It's been certain situations within a bullshit world to where they tried to say that he wasn't black enough, even though I done already did lectures on how they our black peers will accept you before